Dinner tonight is grilled chicken pieces from Sam's with some green beans, and I've got some tea. The next morning, I have a zero carb tortilla, two eggs, one piece of bacon cut up, some berries, and then I have one of the lactose-free zero sugar yogurts, which is 5 carbs, and I have a tablespoon of this granola. It's keto-friendly granola on top. For lunch, Honey and I shared a charcuterie board. I have some beef that's sauteed with onions and peppers. We're sharing some manchego cheese. The bread is for my honey. I have some Parmesan crisps. We're sharing these green beans. We've got olives. We've got goat cheese and some strawberries. And just going to eat until my body says I'm full, I'm done, and then I'm going to quit. And then I had a handful of pistachios. For dinner, I had a low-carb tortilla, zero-carb tortilla, and a little bit of sausage with some egg and a scramble. Next morning, we were hungry. I made us a charcuterie breakfast. So we have very low-carb protein chocolate crepes, and I'll have to show that to you in a video. We've got avocados, asparagus, berries, some manchego cheese, some hard-boiled eggs, that sugar-free syrup to dip the crepes in. The peanut butter's for Honey. He likes that with his, and so he's got 3 bacons, and I've got 2 here, and we're just going to eat until we're done. For lunch, I baked some chicken, so I breaded it in, I dipped it in egg and then in crushed pork rinds, and I added some of this seasoning here. This is salt-free, and I don't remember, I think I picked this up at Walmart. This is the back here. I did check it. It has a little bit of sugar way down there in the ingredients list, some brown sugar, and so I'm not really going to worry about it. I don't think it's going to give me an imbalance or anything, but I wanted the flavor, and it really came out really toasty and crunchy. And now I crushed up the pork rinds in a food processor, so it just kind of made like a like a breading for them, and they really came out really good. I love them, and you can see how crispy it is, and they stayed on. So I actually ended up having 2 drumsticks with the spinach salad, which I have some blue cheese, a little bit of pecans on that, and some green beans on the side. And then for dinner, a zero-carb tortilla, a couple of eggs, some avocado, and my honey toasted me a little bit of Spam. And so I haven't had that in forever. Honey made it for me. I'm going to eat it. And I ended the day with a rice cake. And I know there's like 13 carbs in the rice cake. And I've got some sugar-free, this is like cocoa rip, I think. And there's like 4 sugar-free chocolate chips on that. And then the next morning, I had a little bit of the pork chorizo with 2 eggs, and then peppers, onions, and mushrooms, a little bit of avocado, some bacon, and zero-carb tortilla. And that is what I'm having for breakfast with a little bit of berries. So this was very, very filling. Didn't need any snacks or anything until lunchtime. So this was really amazing. Welcome back to Cat Every Day. All right, so there's a few things I want to talk to you about as far as this low-carb journey. Now, when I started this low-carb journey again, it was purely to just lower my A1C, and that is what I really want to do. That is my number one goal, is to really bring that number down, because I moved up from last year, 3 months ago, I went from 5.7 to 6.1. That puts me clearly in the pre-diabetic zone, and I need to get out of there as quickly as possible. And I'd like to do it within the next 3 months so that I can go back to my GP and show her that I can do it. And also I want to get out of there. But anyway, once I saw that, I started actually losing some pounds, unwanted pounds. Because of that, I got a little excited about that. Now, she told me there's some things going on with my thyroid now. She told me that I wasn't going to be losing weight no matter what I did because of the problems I'm having with my thyroid. Now, I kind of would like to prove her wrong, and I see that I am losing weight, and I would like to do it anyway. So I want to keep going. And this morning I was kind of down on myself because I thought, what if the weight that I lost is just purely water and that's it, and she's right. And I had to kind of get myself out of that frame of mind and just say, no, you know what, I just have to keep on going no matter what. And if I could prove her wrong, that would be great. In any case, my first goal is to bring down that A1C number, and any weight lost, fat loss would be a bonus, and that's where my frame of mind is going to be. Now, when I did low carb many, many years ago, the first time I did it was after I had our 35-year-old, and it was about, I want to say 2 years after that, I started a low carb diet, and I was very successful at it. Now, what I was doing back then was doing low carb 2 meals, and then I'd do like a carb meal. So it was very much like summer sizing. I didn't even know about summer sizing back then. And I was actually following one of the carbohydrate addict diet books back then, which I really hesitate to say that because there was, when I first said that I was doing that, in a video past, it really brought up a lot of controversy, and people really had a lot to say, about that. I find that once you say, I'm doing such and such a diet, and you give a name of something, and it's not, something that you're doing on your own, you're following another plan, you're always going to have the people that come forward and say, you're not doing it right, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. And I've had that done so many times in my life that I'm really very hesitant to say whether or not I'm following any specific plan. I'm just doing what is going to work for me. And I kind of feel like if I'm going to follow a plan, like, that's trademarked, that I should probably just keep it to myself, because someone's always going to find something wrong with what you do. And I feel like no matter what you do, you're going to tailor it to your own. So why not just make it your own, right? I love summer sizing. I will always love that, but I just can't do the carbs right now. Anyway, back then, back to the story, way back then when I was first doing it, I was very, very successful. I did not have keto sticks, to go to the bathroom on to see if I was in ketosis. Back then, I did not have even a scale. I did not have any sort of app to count anything. I just did it my way, and it worked great. I did some exercising, a little bit of an exercise every day. I took a walk every day. My husband came home and we went for a walk, and I lost, right? Now, when I look back at it, there really weren't any low carb options around. There weren't any zero carb tortillas. There weren't any things that you could buy that you would have to really count net carbs on. There was just total carb and real food. And that was very successful. So when our son was a teenager, which was like late 1990s, early 2000s, I did low carb again. And with that bout of low carb, that's when I first found summer sizing. And so what I did was I did find some soy flour, and I used it very rarely because it has a really distinct flavor, and it's not something that I really liked. Now I have developed a kind of like a histamine response to soy, so I really stay away from soy. And I don't even think I could find soy flour, anywhere in town. I'd probably have to order it online now if I really wanted it. But that was the only thing that I would cook with because, again, there really wasn't the almond flour kick kind of didn't get going yet. And so I would make some soy pancakes once in a while. But, I didn't really, it came in a little teeny tiny package like this. And I didn't use it for such a long time. I stuck it up into my my pantry, and then when I went to go use it again, so much time had passed that I found it had sprouted a whole bunch of these 1-inch moths, and they were flying around in the package. And I got so grossed out. I threw it in a plastic bag, and I threw it away. And I don't think I ever bought soy flour again. But that was about the extent of what was available back then. And so again, I had great success. No scale, no keto sticks, no apps, just real food and total carbs, and then following the summer size plan, which basically meant that we had at least maybe two very high fat low carb meals. So it was more like two keto meals and then one carb meal using whole grains. And we followed the summer size guidelines then. And we did great. We lost weight. We did great. And the only marker that I could tell that I lost weight was I could fit into clothes that I wanted to wear. And besides the clothes that I wanted to wear fitting, I could see myself in pictures. So I looked different in pictures. And that is how I gauged my success. And but again, looking back at it, I didn't have low carb tortillas. I didn't make the almond cookies and pancakes and all of these kinds of things. Now, during that time, I can't say that I didn't have extras during that time, because there used to be a cafe in town, and I think it was called like Christie's Low Carb Cafe or something like that. And they had a bunch of freezers in the back. It was like a health store. They had a bunch of freezers at the back of the store, and in those freezers they had like hot dog buns, pitas, brioche bread, all kinds of bread items, rolls and things like that. And they were all low carb and very expensive, pretty expensive, but at least they were available to have once in a while. And then they had this bar there where they would make milkshakes, and they would use all of like the Da Vinci sugar-free syrups. And so they would make you a protein low carb shake. And I don't know how they made it, but they would use the syrup so you could order any flavor that you wanted. And we didn't go there every day, but it was a treat. So like once a week we would go get a milkshake from the cafe. And then I might, if I wanted to splurge, I'd get some hamburger buns or hot dog buns or something like that. That was low carb. And they were very airy. The texture, I think, in low carb things these days has been greatly improved from what they were. But when low carb went out, because it went out, and we, I don't know, it seemed like society went back to the low fat craze. Then the cafe closed down, and I was really sorry to see that go. And what's very ironic is where the cafe used to be, there's now a Dunkin' Donuts. So that's kind of ironic, but oh well, that's the way life goes, isn't it? And here we are, hitting keto and low carb again, and that craze, and even carnivore, that's catching on now. So there's all these things that you can use. There's Keto Crunch. You can go to Sam's Club and Costco, and there's all these snacks and things like that you can buy now that say keto friendly. And I look at that and I'm thinking, there's such a great temptation. I have bought those. I have those in my pantry right now. But I really feel like if I'm going to use those, I really need to use them super sparingly, because the success, when I've had success in the past, it has been with total carb count and not net carbs. And so I think I have to be careful about that. But one of the things that I've noticed in the last couple of days or so is that when I do just veggie and protein and, veggie and fat and that kind of thing together, and I leave off like a low carb tortilla, which is like zero carb, which is what it says, I crashed the other day. I just crashed. And I notice when I have a low carb or zero carb tortilla, that doesn't happen. So I notice, I'm thinking that maybe there is a carb response there that is keeping me, kind of fueled up. is that going to stall my weight loss if I depend on those? Because you could see from what I've just showed you today, I have been incorporating that, and it's just because I don't want that crash, right? But the carb, if I'm going to go with total carbs, those tortillas are 13 carbs each. Now, if you subtract the fiber, I think it's like 9 or more grams of fiber, so you're only left with so many. And so I don't know, I'm not quite sure why they're saying 0 carb, because I don't think that it's 13 grams of fiber, but oh well. But in any case, it says it's 0. But I also have to look at the fact that I did lose 1 pound this week, eating the way you saw, and then in the last 2 days, eating the way you saw, I lost 0.2 more just this morning. So it's inching downward, and I think as long as it's inching downward, I am going to go ahead and incorporate those low carb tortillas, because I noticed that when I incorporate those, I do continue to lose weight. But when I incorporate, the almond pastries and mug muffins and things like that, which I really love, I normally don't lose weight as well when I do that. And so I kind of want to back off of those. Replace them with the low carb tortillas as long as I can. So I have to look at that. And I think that that's what I'm going to do. So far, so good. I am enjoying this low carb lifestyle. I do notice that I do have less energy than I do when I have carbs. Of course, that's to be expected. So I'm walking, but my lifting and my strength training workouts has taken a little bit of a hit because my energy is just a little bit lower, and I know I need to get back to it, because that's going to be very effective in helping to bring down that blood sugar. So I am going to get back to that. Right now it's really busy because we were out of town last week, so all of the appointments that I canceled last week so we can go out of town, I have to do them this week. So we're a little bit flooded this week. So hopefully I'm going to get back to the strength training as much as possible anyway. So my question to you is, if you're doing low carb, are you looking at net carbs? Are you looking at total carbs? And how do you find the most success for maybe taking off some weight, total or net? And or do you just do a mixture of both and just kind of keep it balanced? Because I think that's really where I'm headed. So anyway, I am going to let you go for tonight, and I will see you guys really soon. Bye.